Alrighty, this is a unplanned impromptu live stream for Friday evening, December 8th, 2023, the day after Pearl Harbor Day. A day which will live in infamy. Well, obviously, I mean, I hate to be quoting Roosevelt because I'm not a big fan of him. I know, like, you know, he gets credit for, you know, contributing to galvanizing the nation during this tough time, but I don't like him. I don't like what he did during the Depression to solve it. Maybe he was right. Maybe it was the best thing that could be done. You know, there are actually like talking points regarding the Great Depression and the gold confiscation laws, or, you know, basically making it so that gold was no longer legal tender. And there was a time where I would just take the liberty argument only. And, you know, I'm open-minded to, like, the mechanical reason, the utility behind, you know, having fiat currency. But that is not the topic today. I just thought we'd jump off topic a little bit while we're starting this stream. So, got a couple of things I need to do before I go out tonight. Not that I'm really going out. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm going out tonight. You know, like, right now, I'm about to eat dinner in 30 minutes, so in which case there's no point in me typing the message saying I'm about to eat dinner in 30 minutes. Whoops. Oh, far out, man. There's actually a cool thing. I'm gonna do this for you, Rose, since you're watching me apparently. Oh, you are watching me. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so we're gonna do some trippy stuff right now. You ready? All right, let's do it. Wait, that's not it. Wait, that's not it. Shit, my screens are mixed up. All right, I need to fix it. Let me fix something real quick, and then I will treat you to something amusing, alright? Alright, Ro? How you doing, Ro? It's good to see you. Where you going tonight? I don't know where I'm going tonight. I was actually gonna, like, you know, make a reference to saying, like, I was gonna be vague on stream, be like, oh, I gotta check if, my friends are doing anything tonight. And then, like, you're here. So, you know, I mean, I guess we can figure, there we go. Far out, man. Glow sticks. You know when people go to the rave and they're like playing with the glow sticks? Alright, jokes aside. Oh, I can write things. Wait. Can I? I'm trying to write your name. I can't write backwards though. I can only go forward, so I can't put like a dot on top of a letter after scribbling it. So it's got to be like one thing. It's got to be like Ro, R, O, R, O, N. I'm just gonna do my name. All right, and that was difficult. Okay, so where was I? I'm supposed to be doing something here. So anyway, yeah. So my 3D printer needs a camera arm on it, and a friend of mine actually just asked me if I could print something for him, and I said no. Well, I didn't say no. I said after I print this. So yesterday I had a bright idea to like multiply this and just print out like 7 of them or something, like basically like something like this. Because the logic being that the printer would just print all of these out at the same time. And then, you know, because what happens is every time I print out just one of these, it only takes an hour to print. But after I print it, I go to put it on the webcam. So you're basically taking a webcam and you're like attaching it to that little plastic bar you're looking at right there. And this little freaking dinky ass piece right over here always snaps off. And there's a couple of ways I can improve that. Yeah, as long as it's okay for me to come through, you know, I mean, that's what matters. You know, you gotta, you know, you or, you know, the hubby have to give me clearance to come through. You know, I'm not one of those weird people who just shows up at people's houses and is like, hey, I came by to have tea. It's like, oh, thanks for inviting yourself over. My mom had a friend like that in the 90s. This lady would literally just come by in the middle of like 8 o'clock at night and be like, hi there. And my mom would be like, oh, hey, hi. I guess come on in. And then I'd be like, my mom would get out the tea, which they never drank tea. They'd be fucking drinking coffee, but this lady liked tea apparently. So, okay, so anyway, I don't think I need to have support material in the middle of this shape here. But yes, I would like to come through if that's all right, if you guys would have me. if it's not a busy night and the kids aren't being loud. And then the other part that snaps off is this piece right over here. This looks like it's trying to be a compliant mechanism. But when you print shit in PLA, compliant mechanisms aren't really a thing on this particular scale. Maybe I should print it hollow. Maybe that's my problem. So right now we're going to investigate this before I print. But also I need to open up Octoprint, which I think I already had Octoprint open. We're going to open it again. Okay, that's the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. I have all these Gundam stats on screen from the Punk Waddle stream that we didn't go over, but that's alright. We had a great time. We went over a lot of ground. We're going to close these right now. But, oh, sorry, I didn't show you my screen. Shit, I hate when that happens. But actually, I did want to know the difference between an Assault Gundam and an Assault Buster. And apparently, Assault Buster has the Mega Particle Cannon and Beam Spray gun, whereas Assault Victory Gundam only has the armor. Alright, so anyway, and then apparently they have a Buster Gundam without the extra armor. Huh, fascinating. That's one of the next model kits I need to start on. But we're going to go do model kits in a minute. Oh, I love when Google is like, oh, would you like to Google search an IP address in your home network? No, I would not. Got to text William. Go, okay. Lands tonight. Oh, you're not even home? He knows you're watching me. Okay, whatever. I texted him, all right? Did I just show my password? I hope I didn't. So anyway, important announcement. We need to talk about funding, maybe later. So anyway, let's heat up the printer. So we're going to heat up the printer bed to like 51 or 50 degrees Celsius. Don't ask me what that is in freedom units. We're going to heat up the hot end to 200. And then after it warms up, we're going to go and perform the bed leveling, because before I start print, you know, you want to warm up the bed, get it normalized. And this basically just kind of ensures that it can compensate if your bed is not level. Ideally, you want to dial it in manually, but not in the mood to mess with that. I mean, I already messed with it enough like the past 2 days. So right now I just need to print these objects, and then I can worry about, you know, enhancing it later, because it's really not fun 3D printing when you don't have a camera view to show you like what the machine is actually doing. So I'm hoping this, like, you know, helps me out. Cool. I'm just prepping for printing while waiting for dinner. So anyway, yeah, so that's what we got here. And I mean, so many decisions. So what's the workflow? Well, let's talk about that. So in a slicer, anybody who's not owned a 3D printer, a slicer is what takes the downloaded file and, you know, converts it to something that your 3D printer can recognize. And so you have different settings. You have settings like, you know, if you want to adjust the layer height, you know, how many millimeters, or if you have walls on the thing. Now, this one, we have infill, which we're going to bring it to 0% for a moment. And then every time you make a change, it takes a few seconds to process. So that's what it just did. It just did a little bit of processing. And it says it's going to take 7 hours to do this job. And yesterday I had a 10-hour job, and it stopped, like, it kept going, but basically the filament got tangled on these spools. So no bueno. So anyway, let's see. Are these actually hollow? No, this print apparently doesn't even become hollow. So actually it does have a hollow space in there apparently. That's like over here. And so it looks like the camera mount is printed as a hollow piece. And then when it gets to the end of it, then it starts printing it as something that's not hollow. Now, it saves time to print it as something hollow, but I'm entirely fine with it not being hollow because I want it to be solid, you know? And it's really just a minor part that I don't think is terribly important. Now, on the other hand, maybe making that part hollow is a good thing because it would be more, what do you call it? Like more resilient. Maybe it'll be lighter. Because remember, this part here has to support the weight of this part here. So there may be a benefit to keeping it light. I mean, I don't think it saves a lot of weight. We could actually probably figure out how much weight we're saving. It also makes the middle of the arm in fact, you know what? I think we're gonna print this hollow. Cause look at that. Like that this whole thing is hollow. I mean like right here, this is like a diagonal pattern. That's interesting. So yeah, this would be hollow. It might be hard to see. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I'm up. Yeah. So yeah, I mean like so basically the first like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 layers up, or like 8 out of the first 10 layers, you're gonna have this hollowness. But even in this hollow area, you can see that there's some like, you know, customization in the line art right over here. So then let's keep going. 21, 22. So right here, layer 21, it creates this like one-dimensional shape. In fact, it's an overhang. It's not really a one-dimensional shape, it's an overhang. So in other words, it probably wouldn't be able to successfully do this overhang if we're being honest here. So that alone means we need infill. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna tell it to generate infill, and we do that by, let's say we want to do maybe 50% infill. Oh, and I just remembered the telescope is, oh whoops, the telescope is running, so we got to check on it. So yesterday I tuned into 3rd, 4th, and 2nd stream, and the guy, he's a funny guy. I mean, I thought he was just a mild-mannered person, but no, he's got like this, you know, very like out there sense of humor, you know. And then I saw this gay music video, AOC music video. It was awful. It was this like guy, and he's like singing about AOC having a big butt, and he's like AOC, and he sounds like sort of like a punk rocker, but not. You know, I don't know what you call it. You know, the music that's not punk rock. So now this infill pattern is called what is it called? It had a cute name, like cubic. Okay, well that's not the one I was looking for, but cubic subdivision is very similar to cubic, and it tends to have very good, like, it provides very good support to the walls inside the part, and it would also give us some vertical support above it. So, you know, that does increase the weight, but it gives the model something to, you know, work on. Only issue is like the part here would be printing over these very wide gaps, so it's like just like the draw of the lottery, basically, that it's filling in like that. See, that's a little better. Now it's going to be heavier. And the only issue is I think the support material might contribute to damage, but it might work. It might work. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to print. We're going to print that, and then hopefully this part at the little, you know, like point over there doesn't snap. But if it does, I'm not worried because I'm printing out, crud. Oh, we need to get the temperature up on this again. So basically, I like to heat up the 3D printer bed, and I like to make sure it's already toasty and everything. And I want it to stay toasty when I'm ready to calibrate. So it's basically only had a chance to cool down by 1 degree, apparently. Sometimes I run the bed visualizer twice. Or, you know, to scan, basically, it scans the printer bed. Now let's take a look at my Gundam model here that I just painted. I think it's beautiful. So this is the mobile suit assault carrier. And you can see that we have some Gundam, gold Gundam marker right here. And it doesn't even, like, the camera doesn't do any justice for it, but yeah, it's got like a shiny goldenness to it. Now down here, we have this area here that I might give a little bit of a touch up to. I'm a little bit on the fence about touching it up because the paint took a day to dry. But it might not be a bad idea to touch it up because, you know, it needs to be touched up. I mean, it just is a fact of life. So we might like re-wet some of the paint, but then we can't put a coat on it. We can't put like a, you know, a clear coat on it. Now, one interesting thing would be to see what happens when I use my gun primer eraser on here. It's not really designed, I don't think, to be used on paint, but I gotta be careful putting this upside down when I paint it. In fact, I should probably take it apart. But I would love to see how the gun primer eraser handles that. And back to my screen here, yeah, so we're gonna run the leveling one more time because I just want to make sure it's dialed in. So it doesn't take away the paint. It's a very gentle sanding, but it does, you know, rough it up. It does give it a matte look, which is expected. And then what we could even do is we can go a step further. We could say, okay, let's sand it down a little bit more. I don't know anything about washes or any of those fancy paint terms. So just giving that a gentle wipe. All right, and it's giving us about the same results. So we're gonna just fire it up. If I can find the instance of Cura I was using. All right. So it takes 9 hours, and we do have a, well, I thought I had a camera hooked up to my printer. Maybe not. Maybe the camera needs to be reset again. Doesn't really matter at this point. We printed it with a brim. Well, we're printing it with a brim as opposed to a raft. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to leave the house with this model kit today. I would love to take it out with me and play with it there at my friend's house, but I think I'm going to have to, like, be realistic because this is involving a paint job and, you know, all of that crap. Nah. Alright, let's see here. See, I kind of got like a little bit of excess paint over here where I don't want to get it. Yeah, I really need to find a way to get at these tight spaces. I decided to paint this using the nothing but Gundam markers if I could avoid real paint, because at this point I just think that's the best way to get accurate colors for my level of you know, being intermediate in this hobby. It's a tight fit. I'm basically redoing the paint job on this at this point. At this point, we've like we have so much color spill. It just, you know, I tried precision cleaning it, and it's taken a little more effort to precision clean it. And so at this point, it's easier to just redo parts of it. Really, what I should do is separate this part from the rest of the ship before painting it. I don't even know if that's possible anymore, but that would be like the ideal solution. But I want to be careful not to wreck any of the ship, you know? We're going to try to take this apart. What up, David Glenn? Yeah, so was the paint job was looking pretty good on part of this ship, but I feel like my best bet is to pry this apart, and like luckily I didn't glue it together, so I should be able to pry this apart, but pry it apart without ruining it, so I could paint this part independently. But I'll show you what we got so far on the back end of the ship. So we got a couple of the you know, you got the couple of the thermonuclear jet engines right here. You can see we got the gold. I actually used a gold flake marker, or like a gold, you know, like metallic gold marker here. And then the gray, you know, engineering color here, or for machine spaces. This part might need a little touch up, maybe. This engine pod I didn't paint, but I painted these little dots here and some of the lines that I can clean up and do. And we got, you know, some areas here we could do touch ups on. But essentially you can see we got like the gray here, and then I did something different. I put metallic marker right over here, because I believe this actually has an unfolding bit. Because in a TV series, this unfolds to reveal some mirrors, and then it can receive lasers to help ignite the fuel, apparently. So I figured that it would make sense to have that part like more metallic looking. It's not perfect, but you know, I think it works out okay enough. You know, I mean, we don't need perfection. Obviously, we need to touch up back here. I don't know how the color black got over here. It's probably just an abundance of gray paint that, you know, filled up inside the exhaust area. So pretty much any part that I painted, like other than like these engine pods come off. In fact, this engine pod I painted white using a white Gundam marker, and I know this camera doesn't do any justice to it, but the white Gundam marker is probably the way to go. Aside from the fact that I have some red paint on the edges over here that needs to be cleaned up from touching it just now. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a messy job. I should probably sit down and, you know, do it when I'm in like a good, you know, like when I'm not planning to go out or something like that, you know. For now, we're just gonna try to pry this apart without wrecking it. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I saw this video yesterday, and this guy is singing like this song about how he loves AOC's butt. Then he's even waiting outside Congress, being creepy. He's like, "Oh, AOC, I love your big butt." And then she actually like pretends to, like, you know, be like caught off guard, and is like says hi to the camera, but really she's, you know, she's showing off her butt. And see, like, my problem with AOC is, I mean, many things, but just talk about the simple stuff. Like, if you go on Quora and you look up, like, you know, AOC being a bartender, 90% of the questions and back and forth discussion about AOC being a bartender focuses on, like, the fact that she was a bartender. And that's not an issue to me at all. Like, I don't care, you know. Then you'll get these, like, you know, responses, or even, like, questions that aren't even, like, answered, but comments that'll talk about how, oh, she did it while she was going through law school and she was cum laude, or whatever the fuck they call it. And then they'll fucking talk about how, oh, she was doing the bartending to help her sick grandma or some shit like that. Okay, that's all great and dandy. I just want to know what else she did for a living, because I don't think she only did bartending before being a congressperson, you know? So I was actually trying to get an answer to the question of what did she do? You know, what did she do before, like, you know, and after bartending, I should say, because I know she was a bartender, and I know that resonates with the base, okay? Because, like, I get it, you know, like the working person, yada, 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 right? But it's like, she did more, okay? When you're, like, a good legal student, it's not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. If you're, like, you know, top legal student, top law student, then it shouldn't be hard to find some kind of job, an internship, something to accompany, you know, your bartending gig, or something that pays more. And I would say, actually, I understand that a hardworking bartender could probably make more money than, you know, maybe a legal intern, so I can understand that. But one of the things I remember there was a blog. Yeah, she went to law school, I think, or she went to, yeah, I'm pretty sure she went to law school, and whatever school it was, she got, like, cum laude. You know, basically when you get one of those, like, enhanced diplomas that basically say, like, you're the best. Because, like, it's almost like valedictorian, but it's like it's a shade below valedictorian. And so, like, right there, just, like, not having a clear history makes it confusing. And it pains me to give credit to fucking Tim Pool, because Tim Pool, he's in it for the fucking money. And that's okay. You're allowed to be in it for the money, but don't pretend to be, like, you know, my friend. And he's not my friend. You know, not that he's ever pretended to be my friend personally, but Tim Pool, I remember, like, with the jibby jab, he's given all, you know, this, like, rhetoric about, you know, stuff that would resonate with people who maybe don't want to be forced to get the jab. But then, like, one day, like, he's, like, ranting about how people were sending him emails saying, like, oh, the Pfizer's trying to pull a fast one. And he goes, Pfizer's not trying to pull a fast one. So he quotes their propaganda, like, directly. And I understand that to be on YouTube and make money, that you got to, like, you know, toe a little bit of the line, or at least not be caught going against it too much. But, you know, go on Rumble if you're worried, you know? Like, I don't know what to tell the motherfucker. But anyway, that turned me off to him pretty quickly, just because, like, pick your side, but don't flip sides in the middle of picking sides. I don't, you know, that's, I guess, what my issue is. And David Glenn says, I have to commend you on your patience. I could never deal with all of those pieces. Yeah, tell me about it. It took me time to, like, get that level of patience. All right, so we recalibrated the auto guiding. So now what we're going to do is, we're going to compensate. Okay, that's the last exposure we got, but we're going to crank it down to, like, a shorter exposure time. We're going to go into the red filter. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's pretty verifiable. You know, it's like one of those things they don't brag about, and it's not like a conspiracy to hide that AOC went to law school, but it's probably, like, less interesting than this bitch was a bartender, you know? Like, people, that resonates with people to hear that the broad was a bartender, I think, more than a law student. But what I remember that Tim Pool mentioned was that she used to have this blog, and it was like a Silicon Valley blog. It was sort of like this, like technocrat blog, and not wrong with technocrats, well, there could be, but the point I'm getting at is she was advocating for these, like, more corporatist policies as opposed to, you know, this, like, you know, wannabe commie propaganda. Because, I mean, I would say she's hardly a commie. I mean, she's very hypocritical, wearing $1 million dress while saying tax the rich on it. It's like, okay, you know, I mean, it's not a surprise from this type of person, but it's still worth making, you know, observation, you know, pointing out that this is a thing. All right, so we're going to do a 9-second exposure, and we're going to do plate solving and resynchronization. I was a Tim Pool viewer for about 6 months. Yeah, you know, I was maybe about that long, maybe a little longer. I don't remember exactly, but I just know, like, I was already, like I wasn't never one of those people who was, like, bitching about him being a fence sitter. Because I didn't really care about political tribalism that much. But it was when, you know, they were forcing people, or, you know, compelling people to get, you know, a certain pharmaceutical intervention, and they're basically, you know, telling people, oh, if you want to keep your job, it's like, that was where, like I took offense from him. Like, I took offense because it's like, you're gonna pretend that you're on my side, and you're not, and that's okay. Just don't pretend to be on my side, or don't pretend to be on anyone's side. Just whatever. You want to say that, you know, you trust the company that puts out a news release, and they say this. But I remember they had a website, and it was, like, basically saying that it was comparably safe, or some fancy, you know, like, double speak like that. It was, like, equivalent but different. I can't remember what they said, but it was, like, some bullshit where, like, it's like, it's like it was like one of these weird legal statements with this, like, the asterisk next to it type shit, you know? And it's like, some people are confused, you know? And, like, I'm sure there was a lot of fallacies revolving around concerns that people had, including the ones I had. But it was a messy situation because, like, if you were one of the unlucky people who had an adverse reaction, people were going to gaslight you. People were going to tell you, oh yeah, so I was just doing a little, like, cleanup over here, because this is a part that doesn't need a perfect cleanup, but it needs to have, like, that filed off. My tinnitus got worse after the jab. I also started consuming edibles about the same time, so who knows? Yeah, I mean, I don't think the tinnitus, I don't think, but it's hard to tell. So one thing I noticed, and I can't, like, look, like, there's things that I will, you know, I think, like, make a stronger claim about, and other things I won't. So something I won't make a strong claim about, because I just don't know, is that sometimes I notice, like, I'll get, like, a tingling sensation in my left leg. And it doesn't happen all the time, but, and it could just be maybe I need to rotate my mattress. So that one, it's like, I'm not going to chalk it up to the jab, but at least not yet. But I remember during the month after I got my jab, I had a spate of very weird colds, like, you know, and it's like, you know, I'm not saying that, like, that makes the shot bad because you get a bad cold. I get that, you know, people get short-term symptoms right after the shot, and that's expected. You know, I'm not going to be like one of those, like, people who goes like, oh, how could this prevent this if it makes you sick? Like, you know, I'm not going to be like that, although it did seem to throw a curveball at my immune system. And, you know, my body had to cope with that for, like, a month or so. So, anyway, I had, like, nasal pellets flying out of me. You know, I had, like, just, it was annoying. It was weird. It sucked. All right, we're going to do the star cluster again. This time we're going to switch to the hydrogen filter to get some luminance layers out of it. This time I have, like, darks. I got dark frames. So dark frames, what I mean by that is I took pictures of the with the lens cap installed on the telescope, and I did it in such a way that, like, that now when I do a 5-minute exposure like we're going to do right now, it'll be able to subtract the amp glow properly. And I did the dark exposures on different settings. Now, I didn't do all of the settings yet, but I can pretty much, for most of the settings I'm going to be using tonight, I'll have a dark frame that will be able to subtract hot pixels from that mode. The jabs I got in the military laid me out for a couple of days. They gave us 10 vaxes per visit. Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, so I understand, you know, that, you know, those are going to give people some, you know, effects. And I'm not saying, you know, like, that's enough to say no to jabination, you know. And also, I think when you're in the military, it's like being in prison. You're the property of the military. No offense, but it's just, that's the truth of it. I need to get a different light or something because I don't like the way this cast a ring shape on everything. I'll work it out later. Oh, we almost forgot. There's a couple ways to do the dark ink thing here. So we have, like, a special marker that looks like a paintbrush. We also have a marker with a fine tip on it. And both of these markers can be used for doing, like, panel lining. But one trick that people would do is for panel lining is they'll literally dip the marker on the part they want to do, and they'll just, like, let the ink work its way around like I just did now through capillary action. And then they'll use maybe a pencil eraser. See, I did it right there. So we're just redoing all of the dark spots here. 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 Even if it's not perfect, I don't really care. I'm not going to be too picky here. Okay. Give that a second to sort of clean up a little bit. There's a couple of different ways to do that. Actually, this is the marker I could have used instead. This one's weird. It's a brush. It doesn't really leave a mark, but it sort of leaves like almost like a dirtiness inside of the dark area, the line areas, so to speak. It is very much like being in prison. Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, that's sort of like, I think, no revenge, but it's a trade-off you make, right? You join the military, they help, they give you some money, right? Or, you know, they pay you to do a job of sorts, and some people take that job more serious than others. You know, some people treat it like it's just a job. Other people take it much more to heart. But either which way, you know, that's you know, you're compensated for doing a job, and you also sign away rights like a prisoner does, except prisoner doesn't do it voluntarily. I mean, you know, they commit the crime voluntarily. So that's cool. So we just did a little cleanup over here, and it actually worked out better than I planned on. So we have that. Now we're going to do the same thing here. Yeah, right. I didn't even come up with this idea. This is an idea that was bestowed upon me by some internet people. Now, there's some areas where, like, the marker comes off, and then that's because I got two options. And one option actually is sort of right in front of me. I could just use part of this scoring tool. Normally, I have a handle attached to it, but we're just going to see if we can do this real quick. Let's try this other marker out real quick. Yeah, this marker's seen better days. I have another one like it, which is good because this one seems to be kind of messed up at this point. It looks like it's actually a little cloudy outside. That doesn't look quite right. And what's interesting is I did a 300 second exposure. Okay, 300 seconds at 1700. So is that, yeah, that should be correct. So I don't know why I didn't apply it automatically, but I just did. So we'll see how that comes out on the next exposure, I guess. We got the amp glow over here. That's going to get subtracted evenly. What up, Lorenzo? Good to see you, man. So while we wait for that frame to come in, David Glenn says, bought a step-up converter for a project I'm working on. Gonna be learning. It's gonna be a learning experience because I'm not sure which end is input and which end is output. Oh, well, you know, I mean, the side that says up, I would assume the side that says up because we're stepping it up, right? But I could be wrong. I'm not the guy who knows either. Now, if we do use the fine tipped marker instead of the funny brush marker, it becomes more like a hand stenciling job, and so it seems that we could do that by doing, whoops, see, that's the problem there, is that it wiped out by accident. Shit. See, like if I had a steadier hand on that part, I could probably make it look a lot nicer. At this point, I just have to hope that the eraser can be maybe gently wiped on it in such a way to, you know, maybe clean it up gently. Probably good enough. Yeah, man, I missed your stream yesterday. I got all tied up and shit. I remembered to check your stream again after, like, I don't know, it was like after 2 a.m. or some shit like that. And so I think it was, whatever time it was already concluded. Hope JLM is okay. I haven't seen him in weeks. Maybe it's been a couple weeks actually, but yeah, like hope he's chilling. Sure, he's chilling though. At least chilling, you know, chilling like a villain. Crow videos. Brandon Lee, the Crow. I appreciate it, Lorenzo. Alrighty. Now, sometimes it's better to use a brush, but we're gonna just kind of mark it up and hope for the best. This is a bit of a leaky marker, so so yeah, this time we're painting the part with the part removed, so hopefully I get fewer problems. Because I guess that I had a lot of issues with spillover and whatnot. As the part is going to be a little dicey over here. Oh yeah, I can hold it by the end over here. I can hold it by the end right here the whole time. So let's see if we can get this done without making a mess. Alright, excuse the blurriness on the camera. I just want to... Oh, shit. That's why I bought these expensive pointy Q-tips. I like when they call crows, a group of crows is a murder of crows. That's a funny name. Slim Nim could teach me a thing or two about this. It's almost like coloring. I also like ravens, Lorenzo says. Apparently they and crows are corvids. Oh, yep. I read a book by Adrian Tchaikovsky. That's where I learned the word corvid from. It's a weird sci-fi book about space crows. Yeah, so this I'm not taking out of the house tonight because I mean, when you paint these, they take like hours to get remotely dry, to even begin to dry. So something that I'm just gonna leave sitting actually on top of my computer where there's air blowing on it. Excuse me, I'm just focusing a little bit. I returned a favor by subscribing to your channel, Lorenzo. Ravens and crows do not like each other for some reason. Thanks, Dave. I think YouTube might be suppressing my channel. A lot of people say that, and I get it. I mean, how do we really, like mainly, like, okay, so when you have like thousands of subscribers, it's like, it's a little harder to see. Whereas if you have like 100 subscribers, it's a little easier to see if, those suspicions are more likely to be true. So I just got a bunch of spill over, and at this point we're just gonna try to roll with it. There we go. See, that's what I'm talking about, spillover. I'm gonna try to use this spillover as a palette. All right, there we go. So we got the surface adhesion issue basically addressed. I gotta paint the back of this. I almost forgot. All right, it's about as good as I can get it right now, and hopefully that'll have to do. Leaving that on top of the hot air vent on top of my computer case to dry. In the meantime, I don't think I'm gonna do the second engine side yet because I want to just see how that comes out. In the meantime, maybe I'll regroup and just ponder how I want to paint this part. So we want to do what they're doing on the box. We want to have those black panel lines. Then we want to put the white marker on, and we don't need the white marker, but I find that it gives it that wash, which apparently the word wash is kind of a misnomer because it's like it almost is saying make it look dirty. That's what a wash is basically, right? But you know, I mean, at least we know we got a pretty good idea of what we're going for. You know, the gray equipment spaces. I got to paint some gray in these tight areas here where it looks like there's some hydraulic cables or something. So pretty comfortable. I might have to redo the white paint on this engine pod, even though it's already done because it got some redness on there that I got to clean up now. But you know, like what I'll do is maybe each night I'll do a little more painting on here because really everything I do to this I have to like leave it overnight. That's just how it is, you know what I mean? Like you got to leave it overnight. So, you know, as a result of that. All right, now it looks like the sky cleared up a little bit. Let's take a look. Nah, it looks pretty foggy outside. I don't know. I don't like trust it at all. I am muted. Oh, so I gotta repeat myself. Thank you, Gaudophilia. Yeah, so Lorenzo, I don't know if you heard what I said just now because I was on mute. But basically, like, might be worth checking. Is it the YouTube app or is it something else? Because I know with the YouTube app, it's reporting inaccurate viewership numbers on a lot of the people's videos I watch. It'll report inaccurate, you know, like, numbers for pretty much everything, likes and views. And to solve it, I basically have to, like, I have to look at it from, like you said, YouTube Studio to the browser app. Like, I'll literally go to the website actually and view it through the web browser, or on the phone go to the web browser and then make sure in Chrome it's set to desktop mode, and then see if you get different numbers when looking at that versus when you're looking at, you know, the mobile app, and then take it from there, you know, to form a more defined opinion on that. Nice to meet you, Gaudophilia. I don't know if I ever met you before, but it is nice to meet you. And yeah, you got a channel. I don't know if you do a lot of uploads here. I don't want to put you on blast. That's why I switched my screens real quick. But you know, usually I invite people there. I'm more than happy to share any channel or subscribe if they want. That's a funny avatar. I like the avatar. I just realized when I looked at the avatar up on the screen in large, it's like, it looks like a flying squirrel or something like that. It's kind of cool. I once had a flying squirrel invade me while I was trying to sleep. That was fun. I'm just looking for some missing pieces. I should probably come back up here after dinner to pack up my modeling supplies. I'm gonna work on a GM because it's a smaller model kit, so it'll be easier to pack up for travel. Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. I apologize for having a bad memory, but I do appreciate you viewing my stream and all of that, and being here during past streams. In case, you know, just so you know, I do a Monday show now, so every Monday, 10:45 p.m. At least I try to do it. Well, actually, I do it. That's one reason I do it at 10:45 is because it's easier for me to be consistent at 10:45 than it is for me to be consistent at, you know, like some, you know, like 10:30. For example, I found 10:30 just exceedingly difficult to be ready and on time for, so I just pushed it to 10:45. And that's worked out pretty well. So we got two types of cutting tools in here. I'm missing one of my files right now. I don't need it right now. Here it is. Good. I found my missing file. So yeah, I'm just packing this up before I go eat dinner. I'm just getting all the important little things inside this box for my trips, for my travels. I don't think we need the 120 grit sandpaper. I think that's going to completely brutalize the material we're working on. So I will bring it anyway. Yeah, so we got 128 grit. We got 800 grit. We're not bringing any markers out tonight. We're just going to assemble this model. We're not painting any of this model kit right here. So let's see, I got my nips. I got my sanding tool. I got the glass file. I got the scoring tool. Do I have the scoring tool? Because, yeah, I got the scoring tool. I have, what else do I need? My phone. My pocket PC, which is actually not really, really a good device right now, but I put a movie on here as a demonstration. Yeah, I might have to come back up here after dinner when I realize I'm missing something else. But yeah, so anyway, right now, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I hope I did something amusing today, and if not, well, maybe better luck next time. For anybody watching on the replay, please like and subscribe. Please consider liking and subscribing if you don't want to like and subscribe. And, you know... Oh, yeah, Snow Dub's about to be on. Oh, yeah. You got a puppet? You got a puppet? Oh, you're going to get your puppet on. You don't mean your physical puppet. You mean you're going to get your... Yo, guys, go see Snow Dub. Yeah. So, go see Snow Dub. If I made David a mod, he could share the link. But, now, I will do it because I like my friend Snow Dub. He's the most unholy person ever. Wait it. Damn it. Ah. My keyboard's being so uncooperative typing at this awkward angle. Wait. Damn it. There we go. Okay. I keep typing in different letters. Okay, finally we got it. All right, good. So here it is. And apparently, Punkwater and Rudolph will be on Fajita Friday. So that should be great. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. So we both got a link. We got a link to the channel from Lorenzo, and I have a link to Fajita Friday right under Lorenzo's link. So you got both ways to subscribe or to actually view the stream that is scheduled today, which both links will bring you to the same place, so no worries there. Let's turn off the light. Yeah, hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. I'm just double checking. This is my travel Gundam box, and right here looks like we don't have anything important in here right now. So we're just gonna put that like that. I think we should be fine. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment.